we got ourselves team of one, team one, or team two. We got Fear Lord X as a Shadow Priest with a couple of mages. We got Spartan here. We got Zakila as a survival hunter with a very conservative looking sword. Like, this sword isn't like some major bombastic looking thing. It's like a very simple sword. I love it. We also got ourselves Seavark as an undead mage. Also playing that arcane with Sarek as a fire. 2 arcanes, 1 fire. I feel like they're different enough. And I'm missing somebody here. And I think that was it, actually. Sarakai, Spart, Seavark. I think it was everybody. Where's his team? Cad Jam. On his team, we have ourselves Chicago's and Handsome Shaman. In the back, we got Callus Heels, Peachy as a Boomy, and Warg Ren with Cad Jam going for a little bit of an honor duel bow with Fear Lord X. Wait, who is Fear Lord X? Is that a... Oh, no. Can I remove it? Can I move details? Yo, it's not gonna let me move details, is it? Yo, it's gonna be a little bit awkward. We're gonna have details at the bottom right. I will remove it as soon as we get a chance, though. Fear onto Cat Jam immediately as Fear Lord goes in for some dots into a stun onto Cat Jam. Mind Games, big damage. Actually, Fear Lord also bleeding out quite a bit. Sounds like Cat Jam putting lots of pressure on the Druid as he goes in for a Shadow Milk. Looked like maybe big damage on the Cat Jam. Bursted him down in a single one-shot. Looking to take down the seed, the pod. Can he do it? Will the damage of Shadow Priest be enough? Mind Flake coming out. Looks like he does have enough burst. Again, I'm so sorry about the details frame at the bottom right. Can't really remove it right now, otherwise the whole thing breaks. But there it is. Gonna be a roar by Peachy right after with a Cyclone to Fear Lord X, trying to get himself some Wrath Starfires to generate some of his resources. The Astral Power into Massive Incarnation rolling out. Not playing the Night Fate Covenant, so no Convokes coming out of him, but instead playing the Swarm. The Insect Swarm is going to increase the damage that enemies take. You're also going to increase any kind of hots on you. Sound to the Peachy with the mind control by Fear Lord immediately. Try to CC that incarnation as best as possible as the dots do tick down on him quite a bit. Peachy poking around from a corner, trying to maintain the dots as best possible. And that's going to be the Swarm rolling in with a massive Star Surge. Fear Lord taking quite a bit of damage, but that is a massive health recovery for him either way, as it does Greater Fate away from Peachy. Peachy looks like he's lagging a little bit. He's still holding strong. Does go for a Barskin Bastard to Fear Lord. Is going to check it out immediately. And Fear Lord goes in for the Fear as in the name. Getting the dots up and rolling onto Peachy. Into a Mind Games right after. Big damage on Peachy is going to end up healing Fear Lord for a bit. Big Void Torrent. Peachy is actually under so much pressure. Is going to have to pop in a bear form, get himself a big old frenzy, and looking to get away from the Shadow Priest. The Shadow Crash on one side, Shadow Priest on the other. Into Summon Peachy right afterwards while maintaining Void form as well as PI. Massive haze buff fail, but Peachy still under a lot of pressure with the silence. Not much he can really do unless another frenzy regen is available. Trying to stay mobile away from Fear Lord. Big death comes out. There goes the frenzy regen, I believe. Maybe it looked like maybe it kind of got removed. Peachy, man, he's lagging so badly. It looks like the dots do take him out. So far, the druids, 2 druids are falling to a Shadow Priest. Little high music. No, is it loud? No, it shouldn't be. I can turn it down a little bit. Here we go, boys. Here we go. But Fear Lord taking out 2 druids back to back. We'll see who's up next. Either Chicago, either Callus, or Wargren up next. Looks like they're still trying to figure out who's going first, who's going next. And I guess it's supposed to be Callus. Maybe he was AFK. Callus is 3. Okay, cool, cool. And Fear Lord, is this Boom? Is this Boom? Unless he's Sarakai. I think this might actually be Boom. Is it possible? Callus is going for a little bit of that similar play as Peachy. Cyclone on to Fear Lord. Try to get himself a little bit of resources. Big incarnation coming out with a stun by Fear Lord, as he's gonna have to play a little bit defensively against the cooldown sphere while the Star Surge clips him for a ton of damage. Another Star Surge might have to go for Disperse into Shadow Man's Callus. Somehow appear behind him with a Convoke Disperse coming out while Disperse is up. So many Star Surges flying, and Fear Lord just like mute all those Star Surges, or at least reduce the damage heavily with a massive heal at the same time. Big burst out of Callus heals. Fear Lord was able to survive. It has a lot of short CD cooldowns to continue trucking on here as well. Big PI available with the Void Eruption. Should have some of his own damage rolling. Big sustain for him right now. Lots of self heals, especially as he gets DPs rolling into Callus. Mind Games on a Void Torrent around the corner. Callus under lots of pressure. Can't really heal themselves right now. Actually, so much pressure without Mind Games. Super low on health. Fear Lord just needs to land the execute and he'll be good. Actually, with that fear, I think he secured the kill there. And there goes goes 3 druids back to back. Fear Lord just eating these druids for breakfast. Back to back to back. Boys, that was nutty. Lagging my sounds didn't work, rip. Oh no, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate, my guy. Wargren up next as a survival hunter versus the Shadow Priest. Try to see if he can get himself a better positional. Is going to get the dots rolling onto Fear Lord as he's hiding behind line of sight. Poking out to get dots of his own. Does have the pet to also dot up as well. There's also going to be an extra resource for him to work with. Especially when he goes for any kind of insta-cast mind games or mind blast. Resonate arrow in the corner. Wargren should do quite a bit of damage. Fear immediately going to be a trigger for Wargren as he's going to be able to get some line of sight damage onto Fear Lord, but the Great of Fate stops a lot of the progress for Wargren. Looks like Wargren also lagging quite a bit, unless it's just me. Big dots up and running into Wargren with the mind games. Could maybe go for a feint death. I don't know if he's done it or not yet. He's really laggy on my screen. I don't know what's going on here. He's got to blink all over the place. It's hard to focus and follow him. Knocking Fear Lord down for a second though. Is going to try to go for ranged image from afar. Trying to remove any kind of dots on all dots with a manic bandage to follow right afterwards. Should be quite a lot of recovery here. Fear Lord does have Void Eruption with Void Form available. Silence and Wargren, denying any kind of traps or any kind of magic CC. I wonder if you can also deny the stun, because if you're silenced, can you not do kill commands as a hunter? Going to be dispersed for Fear Lord. We are dipping only into 6% dampening, but I guess he decided, you know what? I probably should pop a defensive and rotate my defenses. Going to be a VT available with Vampiric Embrace as well whenever he needs it. PI back up if he needs that haste ever for the burst. Stumble Wargren S is going for more resonating arrow with range damage from afar. There's going to be quite a high chance for him to crit on everything onto Fear Lord. Even harpooning to interrupt him if he needs to. Could be really bad for Fear Lord. Catching up on heals. Shadowman's 1, Shadowman 2 into CC chain back to back onto Wargren looking for the recovery. Big Void Torrent with Vampiric Embrace and PI available. I think the Shadow Priest might be able to survive. Wargren try to go for a muzzle. Looks like going for a knockback, and Fear Lord is AK for now. Wargren just needs a little bit more damage. Needs to interrupt the next cast if possible. Harpoons maybe a little bit late. Going to be a Shadow Crash onto the Hunter with a freezing trap on the Fear Lord. He does have Greater Fade to keep him alive, and Wargren catching up on a lot of that health recovery. And it looks like Wargren has a bit of an advantage here. As long as he doesn't get the muzzle on the heel, Fear Lord is in a good spot trying to go for MC. Nothing stops him. Hey, feint death to follow actually, and should be able to get a Shadow Man here and there. Shadowman's Zoe he has right now. He has to replay this juke game with a Hunter. As Wargren pokes out, making sure to get does harpoon onto Fear Lord, can't go anywhere. Does have a trinket. Void Eruptions available if he wants to. It's going to be Resonant Arrow, not really clipping him. Wargren trinkets out of that stone, following damage onto Fear Lord. Not a lot of defenses, but Disperse does come back up. You might be able to maybe make something off of the Disperse. Probably see CC chance to follow right after. Big Fear onto Wargren. Maybe some recovery. The VTs as well as Shadowmen's are just not enough to maintain. Needs DPs, but also needs just damage. Is going to get a massive heal there. Look like that they crit with a Void Eruption. Going to be a Turtle Shell immediately for Wargren. Trying to stay as defensive as possible as Fear Lord does recover. Is going to turn the attention onto the pet together with the Siphon. Mind Games onto Wargren. Does not get the intro, but it looks like a Freezing Trap instead. I don't know if Wargren has any kind of self heals or anything to work with here. I think he's just going to have to wait out the Mind Games and get some CC slows. Super low on health, needs himself a feint death, maybe a health recovery. Shadow Crusher on the corner, Dust Clip for a bit of damage. Shadowboard death could be really bad. Feint deathing into a bit of a manic bandage. Looks like the CC does go into the pet, but Wargren is okay for now. Super low on health, the stun comes out right after. Does have the pet stack, but I think the Shadowboard death is enough here. The dots go off and Fear Lord taking him out. Was such a clutch duel for that Shadow Priest with Chicago up next. We are at the 8 minutes, 21% dampener, giving Fear Lord opportunity to get himself a full recovery for an honorable duel against the Shadow Priest. Oh my goodness, boys, these are so clutch. Can you cleanse Mind Games? You can dispel them, yeah. You can dispel Mind Games. The actual initial damage still does it. But you can cleanse it if you got like a cleanse. So a Hunter going for Feint Death with the Honor talent where he removes all magic effects does work. So you will still get hit by lots of damage because Mind Game says hard. But then the effect afterwards, you can remove it. As Rogue, you can't cloak it, all that stuff. Chicago starting off with some Ghost Wolves off the bat, but that's going to be a stun. Early setup for Fear Lord does force the chicken out of Chicago, trying to see if he might be able to get an interrupt on the Migas. The Fear does last the full duration. Silence out of Chicago does end up walling this off instead, and while with Mind Games decides, you know what, I don't want to do damage to Fear Lord X, but that's a lot of damage to Chicago with 26% dampening. That dampening gonna affect the Maelstrom self-healing he has. Does go for the Draenei Rachel in order to give himself a healing over time over, I think, like 20 seconds. And oh god. What is going on over here? Seawork is his own little hurricane by the looks of it. Gonna be a big leap for Chicago, going for the Feral Leap into Ascendance, into immediate disperse out of Fear Lord Axe, and Chicago goes in for the massive Bloodlust. Big damage. As soon as they can get line of sight of Fear Lord, they'll be okay. Stun. Oh, that's a cool animation for Ascendance stun. That's gonna be lots of wind strikes into a Greater Fate as Fear Lord trying to deny any damage for Chicago's big burst. That's their 3-minute cooldowns. Does have a bit of damage here and there every time they drop down a Wind Fury weapon with a legendary, or maybe they don't even play that playstyle at all. Fear Lord with that fear, big pressure in Chicago, not much they can really do. Mind Blast out in the open, and Shadow Word Death to take him out right after. That was actually a pretty big 1v5 by the Shadow Priest. I think we gotta have him go again, man. Actually, it should have been 1v5, but they took down one of them. I think it was Smith that took down. Damn, dude. Look at that. Look at that. You guys wanted to see some Shadow Priest for a bit. And this guy just ate those boys for breakfast. Pretty good.